Hello, beautiful kindred souls, and welcome to my spiritual oasis, here where souls come to find inner wisdom and peace. We are doing a monthly elemental predictions reading today. It is a pick a card style. You can select, there's many different ways that you can select. You can select based off of your astrological placements in your birth chart. So if you have a lot of water energy, earth, air, fire, etc., you can select that way. You can select by topic. So for example, if you're looking for some career guidance for the month, you can check out the earth or fire sign energy and probably watch both of those and combine the messages together. The description is going to have a whole bunch of different ways that you can think about the different groups to determine how you want to select which element belongs to you. And then there is going to be a holistic reading combining all the energies to get a sense of what the month is going to feel like from a holistic point of view. That'll be at the end of the reading. So after you watch your elemental reading, pop to the end to get a holistic view if you're interested in doing that. So I have prepared 4 groups that represent each of the 4 elements. Before I get into the groups and explaining what we're going to be doing today, I would like to invite you to join the Kindred family by subscribing to my YouTube channel if we are not already connected here on YouTube. Drop a comment down below. Let me know which group or groups that you are selecting for your reading today. And make sure to click a like on this video if something resonates so that other kindred souls can find the messages meant for them. If you are interested in your own personal reading, you can connect with me on Etsy. That is the only location that I have personal readings. And I think that's the intro. Okay, I think I checked all the boxes. Awesome. So, our 4 groups today. We have our fire group on the far left here. All of the groups have a Tau Oracle card as the guiding energy. And then we have the Black and Gold Tarot as well as the Gods and Titans Oracle deck for our fire group. Pile 2 is connected to Earth energy. So we have, again, a Tau Oracle deck. We have the Spirit Song Tarot as well as the Crystal Oracle, Crystal Inspiration Oracle deck. And pile 3 is air energy. So we have our Angel Tarot as well as our Feather Oracle. And then we have the water element on the far right connected through the Shadowscape Tarot deck and the Queen of the Moon Oracle deck. So I'm going to quickly buzz through the signs just in case you're not familiar. Our fire signs, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, air signs, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. I don't know why I said Aquarius, strange, I'm sorry. And then for our water signs, we have Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. So you can select based off of, again, strong astrological placements in your own birth chart. You can select based off of the element that you want to focus on for the month, or you can pick by topic. So again, there'll be some more information, especially with the topics, down in the description to help you decide which group or groups might have your message in it for the month. So pause the video at this point in time if you need a few minutes to take a few deep breaths and meditate on which group or groups has your message in it. Otherwise, we're going to get right into the readings. Hello, fire element, and welcome to your monthly elemental predictions. So you could have picked this group because you want to connect with the fire energy, that drive and passion. Spirituality and creativity is also connected to fire energy. You could be here because of topics like career and just like finding your passions in life, or you could be connecting because of strong astrological placements in your birth chart, maybe being in Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. So let's go ahead and get into your guiding energy for the month, fire signs. so we have retreat. Okay, so our fire energy is usually, it's a divine masculine, outwardly expressive, very intense, hot sort of energy. And this month, Spirit is encouraging our fire energy to retreat. So there is a hermit connection, a hermit type of energy to this. We're departing for the world. We're letting go, releasing, we're withdrawing. We're taking some time to be alone, be by ourselves. It feels like a very inwardly focused month for fire energy, which is going to be out of fire's comfort zones. Fire is used to being bam, out there. And so you're being encouraged to kind of tone it down a little bit when it comes to that fiery, passionate energy. I feel like this could also be messages around just having a cooler countenance when it comes to dealing with conflict as well, or difficult situations. As far as career goes, we are, I feel like it feels more of a restful month for you, especially if you're the driven type of person and you're just used to going and pushing and doing, and it feels like we're taking a step back from that. This is a moment, this is a time to rest, both physically, spiritually, emotionally, in order to prepare for something in the future. We have the Knight of Swords, Six of Swords, and the Ace of Wands. Okay, very interesting. So we have retreat energy, as we mentioned before, but we have a lot of divine masculine, outwardly expressive energy in our tarot. So let's talk a little bit about that. So our Knight of Swords energy is very robust, very communicative, and outwardly expressive, very intense. So I feel like, you know, with retreats being the focus, if you've been in any sort of verbal sparring, or maybe just, it could be a back and forth, or maybe you're going to be, there are going to be temptations to get into verbal sparring or arguments or other things with people this month. And Spirit is saying retreat from those things. Do not engage in those activities, especially if they're going to suck life and energy and resources out of you. Okay, so our Knight energy elementally is naturally air, and swords, of course, is air. So you have an air, very outwardly expressive, quick with the wit and the comebacks. The potential is very strong, is what I'm feeling here for that. And the message that I'm getting here is that, you know, Knights can defend, Knights can attack. And I feel like, you know, Spirit is saying it's okay to defend yourself, of course, like set the boundaries that you set, maintain those boundaries, but do not initiate any attacks this month. We're retreating. Do not fall prey to a bait, like if someone's trying to bait you into a difficult conversation that you know is just going to end in an argument or end in with you feeling stressed, strained, or having to tap into that really intense fiery energy. I feel like this is happening because you are preparing for something bigger. So don't get into any petty arguments, petty fights, especially if you're prone to that. Some people enjoy the spar, and you are being asked this month to retreat and focus more on that inward life, that inward world, especially if things are triggering to you. The Knight of Swords also reminds me of like being triggered. So if you're easily triggered this month, we're looking into why are you so easily triggered with certain topics? Maybe doing some root work or some shadow work to get down to the reasoning why some of these things are in play, so that you can make sure that you're not being reactive. You're not living your life as a reaction to everything else around you, but that you are creating the grounding energy, and you are pursuing life, and your activities in it are because you want them to be. They're intentional and not a reaction to the world around you. So with the Six of Swords here, the Six of Swords, it feels like that retreat, right? It feels very much solely connected to that retreat energy. We have a figure with a smaller figure with them, so potentially a little family. These two, like all three of these might be a family. So it might be a family or something retreating from a situation. It could also be connected to this idea of just being ferried away. So receiving help from someone else, or maybe you are helping someone else. So you could be the helper or the helpee in this situation. But the idea is that we're abandoning that tumultuous, wavy water and moving into a more clear, calm, level sort of energy, because it's the best for us. Sometimes we stay in situations because it's like the devil, like that whole phrase. But I feel like Spirit is saying there's something better on the other side. Sticking with something that's bad just because you know what kind of bad it is not good. That taking that chance and, asking for help if you need it, is going to be what's going to get you retreating and abandoning something that is not good for you, is important, especially if this is connected to some sort of relationship, and maybe the Knight of Swords could be some sort of a partner that you're the Knight of Swords, or maybe it's someone else, and maybe it's just your relationship is very argumentative and difficult, and Spirit is just saying it doesn't have to be that way. Whether it's a relationship or any other sort of situation, there's just some immaturity in a situation, whether it's, again, a person, romantically, familially, friend circles, whatever that manifests in your life, or however that might manifest in your life. But the idea is that we're retreating, we're getting away from that energy, we're restoring the fire inside of us, we're reevaluating what we're passionate about, what we desire, what we truly want out of our lives. And we can't do that when we're in the battle, right? We can't regroup when we're actively fighting. So you're being asked to distance yourself from any sort of conflict and difficult energy so that you can figure out what direction you want to go next and how you're going to get there. And I love that the Ace of Wands is here at the end, because the Ace of Wands talks about, it's really just like a spark of life, a spark of energy. And I feel like removing yourself from these difficult situations, retreating from the chaos, is going to give you that spark again. So if you've been kind of feeling like life is a little blah, a little dull, there's something missing, you can't quite put your hands on it, but you're not quite as intense or excited about life as you have been in the past, I feel like there is a message here that retreating is going to give you an opportunity to get that spark back and figure out what it is that you want to do with your life. What are you truly passionate about? And keeping in mind that these things change over our life as we have experiences, as we figure out more about ourselves. What we were passionate about 5 years ago might be completely different. So not being afraid to pivot and change as you are directed to do when you get in alignment with your path and purpose. Okay, and then we have, for our God or Titan, we have the Baami. Talks about beauty. I really love this. First of all, let's look at that quite potentially unattractive little creature there. I feel like the message here with the Baami is basically saying seeing the beauty in things that are not beautiful from from one viewpoint. So when we go through difficulty and challenge, we're like, there's nothing beautiful about that. It was hard. It was ugly. It made me cry. It made me feel bad. But being able to look back on those situations and seeing that, you know what, going through that difficulty, going through that challenge actually helped me see that I wasn't on track, that I didn't want, that what I didn't want in my life. And it helped me pivot and change and redirect my life. So now the road that I'm on is more in alignment with what I'm actually after, what I'm really interested in, and what I really want. So the whole point here is that, retreating right? It's not always about winning the battle. It's about winning the war. And the war is really about achieving that place of direction and peace and joy in our lives. And sometimes we have to go through difficulty in order to get to that place. We have to figure out sometimes what we don't want in our lives in order to figure out what we do want in our lives. But I do feel like Spirit is basically saying that you're potentially wasting some of your energy away on things that aren't in alignment. Sometimes out of stubbornness, I feel like there's a message here around kind of stubborn energy, like you're just kind of in it just because you want to win. And I feel like there's also a message around like it's okay to retreat. It's okay to lose the battle in order to regroup so that you can win the war. Because at the end of the day, it's about being able to get to the end result that you're after. All right, so we're adding some tea leaf messages here for you today, fire group. And so we have the needle and thread. A sincere wish will be granted. I love this. And I feel like this is really connected to like retreating, right? You know, waving the white flag, especially if you're in the midst of some really intense situation. Waving the white flag, retreating, going inward, looking at what you want, truly want in your life. What's that spark? What is that passion? Finding the beauty in some of the difficulty and challenges that you've gone through. I feel like this is going to, your intentions are going to be more clear. And air energy is the connection between what our heart desires and what our intentions are for our life and ourself. And when when we're able to communicate what we want and what we need, and we're able to articulate that in our mind space and also vocalize it, it helps the universe know what to send your way. And when we're in chaos and there's so many voices and so many thoughts and so many things going on where we can't get a clear, crisp message and understanding to ourselves, more or less to the universe, things are just more chaotic and more crazy because we're receiving things that we don't want, we don't need, and it's hurtful and all this other sorts of stuff. So again, you are being asked to retreat, to get to a place of quiet, to get to a place of calm, to get to a place where you can hear your own thoughts, where you can decide and determine, what are the things that I truly want? What do I want to see in my life? What do I want to be able to celebrate? Who do I want to be able to celebrate with? And are those the people that are currently around me? Or do I need to do some fanning and removing some energy out of my life, clearing some space out? And then we have the egg here, success assured with good plans and hard work. So again, sincere wishes granted, celebration, success is assured. Sometimes we have to take a step back in order to take 5 steps forward. And I feel like that for fire is going to be really difficult, really challenging. But reevaluating is important with any plan, because a plan is just, it's an intent, it's intentions. And then reality settles in and comes through, and then we have to reevaluate. So I feel like in general, fire energy, you are being encouraged to reevaluate this month and determine what direction you truly want to go in your life. What is that spark? What are you truly passionate about in your life? And then setting forth and embarking on that journey, even though you don't know where it's going to lead you. But you know that if what you're currently doing is not, that you don't have a true passion for it and there's something missing and all these other sorts of ill feelings, you know that that's not it. So you are being called to figure out what is it, or at least what's the right direction. What am I interested in? What do I like to do? What have I liked to do in the past that I maybe got rid of for whatever reason, but it's still something that I'm interested in and passionate about? So my beautiful fire energy, these are the messages that I have channeled for you today. I certainly hope this was helpful for you. If something resonated, do drop a comment down below. Let me know what did. Click like and subscribe to my YouTube channel if we're not already connected here on YouTube. And if you're interested in your own personal reading, please do connect with me on Etsy. So thank you so much for your time and your energy, beautiful soul. And I will see you in an upcoming reading. Bye. Hello, Earth energy, and welcome to your elemental monthly prediction. So you could have selected this group because you're interested in that earthy energy. You might have strong earth sign placements in your birth chart. So Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn energy. You might be here because you're interested in some sort of career reading. Also make sure to check out the fire reading if that is true as well. You might be here connected to money, prosperity, abundance, and other such topics. So let's get into your guiding energy. Increase. That is always a good sign, earth energy. And I feel like potentially even for last month, it was abundance. So really this month, Spirit is saying you are reaping the rewards of your effort and your hard work. Keeping in mind that if you didn't put in any effort or hard work, you're going to be reaping that as well. But in general, if you've been putting in a lot of work, a lot of efforts and hard work, abundance is in your future here based off of the effort that you've put in. There is going to be an overflow. There is going to be more than you expected or more than you thought in something. So it could be some sort of a job opportunity, some sort of move, some sort of, maybe even having to do with your glow up. You could be going through some sort of personal glow up in your life and just receiving more out of it than you thought you were going to. There's also messages around sharing. So when we are in a place of abundance and increase and excess, sharing that abundance is really strong because we're not always going to be like, life is about ebbs and flows. It's about peaks and valleys. And when we're on the mountain, we're on the peak, we share that with those around us, and then when we're in a valley and we may need help, we can then reciprocate that energy. You're in a place in a position of expansion right now. This could also be talking about, and actually one of the first messages that came to me when I saw this idea of increasing, which is the term that they used back in the day when a woman was pregnant. So this idea of fertility is very strong. This feels like High Priestess energy to me. I'm sorry, not High Priestess energy, Empress energy to me in tarot. And I also feel like this message around fertile ground is that it's almost like anything you touch turns to gold sort of thing. Anything you plant in this fertile ground that you've worked so diligently to nutriate, that's not a word, to put nutrients into, is going to bring about increase and abundance. And it just feels very earthy, feels very positive, high vibrational from an earthy perspective. And if you're here again for that career reading, you are, this is suggesting a positive abundance. It could even be in the form of like some sort of either job opportunity, some sort of promotion, some sort of, something along those lines where, we're in a place of increase. And it's based off of what you've sown, the work that you've put in up to this point. So now let's take a look at our tarot. So we have the King of Shells, the Six of Acorns, and the Ace of Crystals. Okay, I like that. I like this for you. I'm trying to think about how I want to organize these. All right. Sure it's in the view. We'll get to our crystals in a second. Okay. The King of Shells. I love that the King of Shells showed up here because our king energy is naturally fire energy, and shells is the water element in this deck. So this message here is really about, our kings hold the seed, the vision. Our kings hold the vision of, in this particular case, shells, which is water, which is connected to spirituality, creativity, love. There's a flow. Our king is that fire-water combination, which is when water and fire are working together, they are love. It's a very harmonious sort of energy where you're ruling and making decisions from an emotionally strong and intelligent standpoint. So you're making really strong positive decisions in your life as well. So a lot of really I organize these wrong. A lot of really strong positive energy here with the King of Shells, that again, you are ruling your space, your domain, from a place of emotional integrity and power and harmony and balance. So it feels very, very positive. The Six of Acorns, and Acorns fire elements in this deck. And our Six of Acorns is really talking about success and triumph, which we already mentioned here in this idea of increase as our guiding energy. So I feel like this is just, reiterating that message of success and triumph. And again, success and triumph is based off of the work and effort that you put in, getting recognized for the work and effort that you've put in, whether that be monetarily, whether that be from a reputation standpoint, and it could be a combination of all of these different things. So I really love this. And I also quite enjoy the moon and star representation in this card as well, because it feels like it's an emotional, this is fire energy, but it also feels like some sort of emotional effect as well, like feeling, pride, not in a negative way, but just feeling like happy about what you did, and kind of like giving yourself an attaboy, if you will, for the work and effort that you've put in and reaping the rewards of that. I feel like with the star energy, there's also this idea of like hope and guidance and, following that North Star, like your true north. And that is going to bring you success. That is going to bring you abundance when you're in alignment with your true north. And I love that the Ace of Crystals is here, because the Ace of Crystals, crystal energy, is the earth energy in this deck. And this is all about, aces are all about potential energy. So potential abundance, manifestation, prosperity. It's like you're in a place of manifestation. It's just about making sure that you're communicating that. It almost feels like magician energy in a way, that you have the power. You have the power to manifest this worldly success that you're looking for and that you want. And that prosperity and abundance is definitely a spark. It's a possibility here. It's just like taking hold of that potential and putting that effort, that work into it, and then reaping the rewards of that. And I feel like this could also be talking about you having taken advantage of some sort of opportunity in your past, whether it be like a new job or maybe a new career path, or starting a new business or something like that, where you were being rewarded then for taking that leap of faith, if you will, and reaping the benefits of that. So I feel like we're triangulating messages here, if you haven't already caught on to that message. Okay, and now, I love this. So turquoise, the first message that I saw in turquoise immediately was this idea of prioritizing your health. So reaping the rewards of the effort that you put in means that you've been putting in effort. And now that you're kind of in that place of receiving now based off of your effort, you are being encouraged and reminded to make sure that you are falling back a little bit now, that you're taking a moment of rest now that you've kind of reached this you've reached this point where you are in a place of reception. It's not about jumping on to the next thing. It's about taking a break, taking a moment, resting, prioritizing your health, focusing on yourself from all points of view. So when we're talking about health, we're not just talking about your physical health and well-being. We're also talking about your spiritual health and your emotional health and your relationships, and the health of your relationships. Have they suffered because of all the work and effort that you've been putting in from this awesome bounty that you're now reaping? So you are being asked to like take an account of all those things and making sure that you're spending some time before you jump into the next thing. If you are an achiever, which I have a feeling that a lot of you are, being an earth sign, being earth signs, but making sure to prioritize your health. And I feel like this message is being channeled from our Virgo energy to our other earth signs, but also a reminder to Virgo to focus on health and wellness as well, even while still doing, the things that you enjoy doing, that work, effort, building up your worldly preserves and all of that awesome stuff. But you also have to focus on your body and your wellness as well, holistically. And then we have Garnet and ignite your passion. So I feel like this is that fire-earth connection that's connected to career, that's connected to abundance, that when we are in flow, when we are in alignment, when we are doing things that we're passionate about, it doesn't feel like work to us. It's not like going to some 9-to-5 that we hate, but we have to do in order to pay bills. Like, that passion is not. But when we are in alignment with things that we truly love, it doesn't quote unquote feel like work. And so you are being called to ignite that passion in your life, and just to understand that passions don't necessarily have to be something that you're making or you're getting monetarily compensated off of. Just to like let you know, that's you can do a job that's okay and still find that passion in other areas of your life. It doesn't necessarily have to be your career, your job, or how you pay your bills, if you will. But it can be if you want it to be, if that feels like it's in alignment with your path and purpose. So when we are talking about earth and fire energy, especially in combination, or I guess earth energy, if we're talking about earth energy and or earth energy in combination with fire energy, outside of the scope of career and jobs and businesses, there's also this element of sexuality, sex, and intimacy and romantic interests. And so our rabbit energy is suggesting that maybe there's too much concern into sexual matters. So if that is resonating with you, just being, especially if the fertility conversation is resonating with you, often when we focus on that too much, it puts a lot of anxiety and stress into our lives and into our minds and our hearts, and we start getting anxious about it, and that actually it makes it more difficult to conceive. So that felt very specific, but that's the message. So, focusing more on your passion, what ignites your passion. If you and your partner, again, are trying to expand your family, think more about your relationship with your partner and what is it about that relationship that you enjoy about each other, and, focusing less on the semantics and more on the relationship, the relational energy. And then we have the valley here, deep personal strength and peace that is sure that assures success. So more confirmations and triangulations about success here, which I really love for you, Earth group. It just feels like the universe is just triangulating all of these messages for you. And then the final message is this frying pan message, which it's a wee bit of a warning that there might be some trouble. And I feel like, you know, whenever we're going through things in life, and that could be anything in general, that there are some difficulties and challenges that we go through. But just being mindful that there might be some, I'm getting this, like potentially some accusations made against you or some legal actions or potentially that. But I do feel like because everything else was so positive in your message, even through these difficulties and challenges, making sure that you're prioritizing your health, making sure that you are approaching your career and your business or whatever it is from a point and a position of integrity, making sure that you are, if you connected with the message around like fertility and abundance and trying to grow your family, not allowing life to put you in a frying pan, not allowing life to stress you out or make you feel like you're not doing enough, or, you know, whatever, any anxiety that's coming your way. Like this could be kind of you, especially if you're, I'm feeling like Virgo energy, where you're just like kind of in your head a lot and you just get really stressed out about stuff and you are really anxious. If you're a really anxious person, just making sure that you're not putting yourself in the frying pan, that you're not putting yourself into a difficult situation, and that you're prioritizing your health above all else, and knowing that life will prosper. Life will prosper, and it often happens when you are not focused on it. So my beautiful earth energies, these are the messages that I have channeled for you today. I hope this was helpful for you. If something resonated, please do drop a comment down below and let me know what did. Click like and subscribe to my YouTube channel if we're not already connected here on YouTube. And if you're interested in your own personal reading, you can connect with me on Etsy. Link is in the description. Thank you so much for your time and energy, and I will see you in an upcoming reading. Bye. Hello, Air Group, and welcome to your elemental monthly prediction. So you might have chosen this group because you have strong air sign placements in your chart, Sun, Rising, Venus in Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. You might have chosen this group because you want to focus on that air energy, communication, truth, true north, intent, setting intentions for your life. All those beautiful things connected to air energy. So let's go ahead and get into your guiding energy for the month. We have modesty. Okay, so it feels very divine feminine, which, you know, air energy is divine masculine, outwardly expressive, very energetic, very robust, opinionated, quick with the mind, quick-witted sort of energy. And you are asked right now, being asked to be modest or take a position of modesty, which again is that divine feminine. It feels like a very honest energy. It feels like you have a really strong inner self space. You're very sincere and you're moderate and and coming from a position of humility and respectability this month. So I feel like this is more like, this is kind of talking like often people that do what's called like peacocking, like they talk a lot and they're very flashy, and you know, it's almost like they're overcompensating for something. So if you're maybe resonating a little bit with that energy, or maybe, you know, when you're in a quiet space with other people, if you feel like you always have to fill the space because the quiet is just so awkward to you, I feel like you're being called to like just pump that down a little bit, right? So our communications, I feel like right now, are just slower, more paced, we're being mindful of what we're saying. You know, we're not coming off as arrogant because we're really thinking about what we're saying, or we're processing what we're saying before we just blab out and say it. We're being intentional that what we are saying is coming from a place of truth and is coming from a place of kindness. And we're keeping it simple in our communications this month with ourselves and with others. You know, sometimes we can fill our minds and fill our mouths with so much that the clarity of the message gets lost in translation. So you are being asked, and Spirit is encouraging you to allow the intent of the message to shine through by keeping it simple and coming from a place of sincerity, and just kind of toning it down a little bit and being clear about what you want and how you want to say it before you actually open up your face and say something. So we do have our angels present. So let's take a look at our angel tarot and see who we have. Walia, Michael, Archangel Michael, as well as the Four of hell. So each of these cards does correspond to tarot. Okay, so this is kind of what I'm getting here from your angels, messages from your angels. Valia is really talking about prosperity and prosperity coming from the destruction of your enemies and delivering you from bondage. That is what modesty is offering you this month. This idea of keeping it simple, being moderate, being sincere, is actually going to thwart your enemies. It's almost like getting into verbal spars. If you're the type of person that gets into verbal spars, or you fall prey to just getting into tough especially verbal conversations with other people that kind of get on your nerves, or like know how to press your buttons. There's a message here about, again, toning that down, not being susceptible to that energy. And from that, it will free you. And that freedom then will bring you that prosperity that you're looking for in life, and that emotional fulfillment. Because sometimes it can be emotionally distressing for us, as the Five of Cups would suggest, you know, especially if we lose the battle or whatever. So you're being asked, like, don't tone it down. Don't let your ego get in your way. Keep it really simple this month. Don't allow someone else to direct your energy or determine where your energy goes. Because you're on a mission here. And there's protection here for you against slander and envious people, destruction of enemies. Okay, so success in conflict. All right, so you might be, I think your angels are just, angel energy is present here, just encouraging you that being more laid back, more subdued, coming from a place of humility is actually going to activate your angelic protection. And protection from your enemies. Freedom from the bondage of feeling like you have to engage with your enemies. Like, no. Let your angel spirits and guides help with that energy. And you keep it simple. You stay focused on your mission. Because Haha also talks about this idea of mission. So you staying focused on your mission, and coming from a place of peace, and allowing the battles to be fought by your spirit guides, your angel guides, You're coming from a place of truth, you're coming from a place of peace, and you're coming from a place of just chill, you know? It just feels very soft and chill. And that's going to be very difficult for that air energy. Because air energy is used to popping off, going off quicker sometimes. Your mouth moves just as fast as your mind at times. So you are being asked, you're being challenged this month to reel that in. And your humility, your discipline to be able to keep that contained and to release it through meditation or other forms is actually going to activate your spirit guides and your angelic power and connectivity here. Yeah, so lots of messages around protection, especially from like enemies and like adversity and things like that. But again, it's activated through humility. All right, and then we have our Ren. Be bold and confident. Use all of your resources to create your dreams. And so what I do feel like is this. Too much focus on the outside world. Too much focus on what other people are doing, what other people are saying, you know, falling prey to instigators and other things like that is distracting you from your mission. And your mission is about creating the creation of your dreams. So whatever your dreams consist of, your goals in life, what you want to see, you know, come to fruition in your world, that is your mission. And you're being called to come from a place in a position of humility and modesty in order to release the need to engage in things that are going to detract or distract you from chasing your dreams. Now, this position of boldness and confidence, like you can be modest and confident. You can be confident and you don't have to be insecure, I guess what I'm trying to say, to be modest. And in fact, it is the act of simplicity and self-respect. Like you respect yourself so much that you are not willing to engage in these kind of petty, sort of just energy draining situations and conversations. So very interesting that from our tea leaf oracle deck here, we have the broken ring. So parting of the ways in romance or business. So this could be, you know, not engaging could actually disrupt or break, in quotation marks, some sort of connection or commitment that you may have had with another person or another in romance or in business. So not engaging in that negative energy could sever some sort of tie with someone else, which I think is a good thing, actually. You don't need their negativity. You don't need it. And in our hills, obstacles to overcome. You're overcoming obstacles, what I'm saying, again, through that sense and position of humility and simplicity and respecting of yourself. And then we have the firecracker, which talks about excitement. And I think that you are finding excitement and finding fulfillment in this idea of just trying things a little bit differently. And I feel like from an air position, this position of modesty and humility is very different. It's not what you're typically used to. So I think you're going to find some exciting results, and seeing that your dreams and what you're going after is that you're actually accomplishing those better from a bigger position and space and place in your life by doing things a little bit differently with other people around you. So So beautiful souls, these are the messages that I have channeled for you today. I hope this was helpful for you. If something resonated, please do drop a comment down below. Let me know it did. Click like and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're not already connected here on YouTube. And if you're interested in your own personal reading, you can connect with me on my Etsy shop. Thank you so much for your time and energy, and I will see you in an upcoming reading. Bye. Hello, water elements, and welcome to your elemental reading for the month. So you could have, selected this group because you have strong water element placements in your chart, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus in a water sign, so Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Or maybe you're here, looking for information on spirituality, love, creativity, flow, all of these different topics that are connected to our water element. So let's go ahead and get into your guiding energy for this month. Oppression, restriction, depression, confinement. Okay, so the message that I'm getting here and what I'm feeling for you, water energy, is that maybe feeling a little heavy this month. So if we look at our sigils here on the side, glyphs, we see the water, which is the sign here, the flow, is under the lake. So the lake is also a water symbol, but we know that the lake is a bowl, right? And then there's solid earth under it. So for the lake to be on top of this water, it's almost like your emotions are being suppressed. Your emotions are feeling weighed down and restricted, which water wants to flow. Water doesn't want restrictions, potentially guidance, right? So if we're thinking like in terms of a river, we have the banks of the river, which are kind of a bowl and hold the water, but the water isn't trapped. It gets to keep moving. And, water wants to move, and movement is life. Movement is a way of keeping things fresh and keeping things new. And so there might be some feelings of potentially even being emotionally trapped this month. And there might be various different reasons why. So let's get into our supporting energy to see what additional messages we have. So in our tarot, we have the Hierophant, Strength, and the Nine of Pentacles. Okay. All right, let's see. All right, first let's look at the Hierophant energy, which can be kind of oppressive. So you might be feeling from the position of, the Hierophant really talks about established ways that society or things around you are functioning and how they work. Established forms of government, established forms of guidance and control over things, which can be oppressive sometimes if you emotionally are maybe more free and your emotional space and thoughts and energies are more avant-garde or not in alignment with the way that the world around you functions naturally. So there could be some potentially oppression from that standpoint. It could also be coming from some sort of a spiritual leader or a spiritual guide. Maybe if you're going to some sort of a church or another religious space, and maybe there's some messages there that are a little bit confining to you. I feel like there's also a message here kind of on the flip side of that, is to find some sort of spiritual guide that you can trust, whether that be, again, a spiritual guide, whether that be a therapist or somebody that you can trust, that you can share your unique position with, and there won't be any negativity coming from them or judgment coming from them. In Strength, I do see this message around emotional strength, that even through the darkness and the oppression and feeling very contained and trapped, you know, there's a sense of inner strength and courage that you're being asked to invoke in this space. So I feel like this idea of almost like going against what is easily being pushed upon you. So for example, from a position of oppression, right, your restrictions are being pushed upon you. You're feeling exhausted. You're feeling depleted of your resources. You're feeling cut off from everybody. You feel like you're being punished, confined. So it's almost like the strength is saying, no, fight against these things. Go against these things. You're feeling cut off? Well, find ways to feel more connected. How can you feel more connected? Again, going back to like that potentially a spiritual leader, a spiritual guide, or a spiritual family that you can tap into, that you can reconnect your watery energy to. You can flow, so you can continue flowing. It's like connecting your hose to something else if you're being cut off from someone else or some other position or place. Especially if you're going through difficult times, you may be feeling punished, like you're being punished. And I feel like you're being called to look at the situation a little bit different. For example, like if you lost your job, or maybe you and a friend got into it and you're not talking anymore. Looking at that from a different perspective, instead of saying, oh, I'm being punished for whatever this is, think about it as opening up new opportunities. Maybe you would have never left that job and you would have just been living there, staying in that space and place, being miserable, wasting away. But now that you lost that job, you have an opportunity, you're being presented with opportunity to find a new outlet and to really have an opportunity to really think about what you really want to do in your life. And is what you were doing really what you want to do? Or do you have a chance now to find something that's truly connected to what your path and purpose and what you really want to do in life? That friend that you lost, maybe that person was really negative. They're an energy vampire. And though you may have known them since you were kids, you guys have grown apart. So, you know, this could be an opportunity for you to find new friends, find a new support group for yourself, and get with people who are more in line with the direction that you're going. So again, looking at situations from different points of view, and it's going to take that strength. It's going to be difficult and challenging to think differently, to change the way you normally do things. But you are being encouraged in this particular situation to do that. And then we have the Nine of Pentacles here, which I love this because it talks about an abundance, especially from a worldly perspective and a worldly point of view. And I feel like coming from a position and a place of abundance, coming from a position and a place of that there is always enough. There's always more than enough. And, you know, sometimes when we're in a place of oppression and depression and exhaustion, like we're tired, sometimes we can't see the forest for the trees. We can't see all that we have, all that we've gained. So I feel like going into a place of gratitude and really just looking to see, okay, maybe I don't have all these things that are making me feel bad, but what do I have? Well, if you're watching this video, I'm assuming you're live, so you have your life, which is always a good start, because if you have your life, if you have another day, then you have the opportunity to make some changes. You have the opportunity to make to turn things in the direction that you want them to go. And what else do you have? Well, you have a phone. If you're watching this video, you have a phone, you have access to internet or something of the sort, and that is a powerful tool. You have powerful tools at your disposal. And so you are really just being encouraged to take into account what are the things that you do have, especially if you're feeling like you're depleted of resources and you have nothing and all of these sorts of low vibrational energies. And I feel like once you start looking at what you do have and seeing that you have way more than you think you do, that just kind of changes your thought process and changes the way you view things. And changing the way that you view things, changing your perspective and your point of view, gives you the power to start making some changes. It gives you hope. And what I think is really beautiful here in this imagery is you have all this darkness, or all these crows, all these people maybe even talking and telling you can't do something, or whatever that oppression, however that manifests in your life. But that light, the light is inside of you. You have access to it at all times. It's lighting your way. It's lighting your path. Yes, the light, you can't see beyond what the light touches at times. But the more hope, the more faith, the more energy, the strength that you put into that light, the bigger it grows, the wider it expands, and the more it touches other things around it. Because the shadows cannot live in the light. They're expunged by the light. So the more you increase that light, the more it lifts you out of this dark, difficult place. So let's look at our moon energy. I love this. I did say something about faith, trust. Okay, sorry. So you have the waxing crescent 4, which talks about self-love, which I think is huge here. Because that courage, that strength is coming from within you. And self-love, self-respect, self-worth, all of those energies come from a strong solar plexus chakra, a strong sense of who you are and your position of strength in your life, in your position of life. And then we have the egg moon. And the egg moon talks about trust. And what I really love about this, an egg is a babe, right? It's a baby, and babies have to trust their adults, their bigger thems, to help guide them and show them the way and protect them from predators. And they do it on faith. They just do it, and so you are like this idea of trusting yourself, trusting your inner strength, trusting your powers of discernment, and just really building yourself from the inside out and letting that light glow and grow and expand and expel all of the darkness that seems to be clouding in on you. And the only reason why those shadows feel like they're clouding in on you is because your light is dimmed. So you are being encouraged here and asked to grow and expand that light that is inside of you. All right, so we have flowers, which talks about happiness. I love that. Yeah. In many ways, the opposition to that depression is happiness, and finding a way to connect with that happiness. Spiritual love, which we talk about self-love, so I feel like it's just reiterating that message. Spiritual love could also be talking about love from others, whether they're in your spiritual circle or not yet. But connecting with like-minded individuals, which I feel like is kind of what the Hierophant, the flip side to the Hierophant is saying. The flip side to, the order of things and the way things are, institutions and such. And the flip side of that is like connecting with a spiritual family that is going to surround you in love. And then we have the shield. You need to defend yourself. And sometimes defend yourself from your own mind space. Sometimes we are our own worst enemy. And I feel like this idea of shielding yourself from that negativity, shielding yourself from the world. We think about an egg, it's protected by the shell, protecting yourself, and that's okay, especially if some of your doubt and struggle and difficulties coming from like others, people outside of you. And that oppression and depression is coming from the outside world. Protect yourself, right? Put yourself in that egg, that shell, and then work on yourself from the inside out and connect with people who are going to support you from the inside out as well. Really strong message around that. Yeah. So overall for you, water energy, coming from a position of oppression is going to be really difficult and challenging for you to overcome, as I'm sure you've already kind of gotten that. But I feel like there's a lot of work, a lot of effort that can go into, leaning into yourself from the inside out, doing a lot of that spiritual work, meditating, journaling, doing root work and shadow work and all of that different beautiful energy to help get you into a place of positivity, into a place of trust, into a place of faith and hope that there is something that is beyond this feeling of sadness and darkness right now, because there's so much light, and that light, you can find that the light beyond the shadows by increasing your own light from the inside out. And being in this video, connecting with the Kindred community is a first step for sure, and I'm so happy that you're here. And this is the message that I have channeled for you today. Please do feel free to check out some of the other content on my channel, and drop a comment down below. Let me know if something did resonate with you. I do read all my comments at this point in time, and I love connecting with my kindred souls. And yes, please also click a like, subscribe if we're not connected here already. And if you're interested in your own personal reading, you can connect with me on Etsy. Appreciate your time and energy, and I will see you in an upcoming reading. Also, make sure to check out the end of this video, which will be talking about the holistic energy for this month to come. So again, thank you for your time, and I will see you in an upcoming reading. Bye. Hello, beautiful kindred souls, and welcome to the holistic elemental reading for this month. So you may have tuned in to some of the individual elemental readings from the pick a card today, but I did want to do a holistic elemental reading just to get a sense of what's kind of this month going to feel like, what it's going to look like in the different areas and aspects of our lives. So I have the Tao Oracle cards that are connected to each of the elements. So we have fire, earth, air, and water in that order. And then I also just picked out some of these supporting information, supporting cards to help guide our conversation about holistic energy for the month. So I actually wanted to call attention to a running theme through at least the first 3 cards here, which are number 33, 42, and 15 reduced down to the number 6. Okay, so we have 666 present. And that sequence of numbers is an angel number, which basically says that your thoughts need to be refocused. Okay, so, and I feel like that message was really, really loud in the water element's energy, which is guided by this idea of oppression, feeling oppressed, feeling restricted, and cut off from other resources and energy. This feeling of exhaustion and punishment and confinement. So restructuring your thinking, restructuring how you speak to yourself, how you communicate to the universe, and just overall, like, just having a reboot, if you will, as far as how you're speaking to yourself. 666 is that angel number also connects to this idea of you being a spiritual being first, having an earthly experience. So you are a spirit inside of a body that's having a bodily experience. So there is a concentration and a focus on this idea of focusing on your spiritual health, your spiritual well-being. The lily talked about spiritual love as well for our water signs and water sign energy. And what I also kind of saw a little bit throughout with our fire, air, and with the water energy was this idea of like setting boundaries, protecting yourself, shielding yourself, defending yourself, as well as like navigating through not falling prey to opposition and chaos, especially if people are trying to pull you into verbal arguments and fights. So that is something on a holistic scale I do want to point out, because I saw that theme kind of throughout, like this idea of needing to protect yourself, especially from like arguments or low vibrational people that are going to try to pull you down to their level, especially as you try to elevate your life and you try to live in a place of abundance and increase. Okay. So, you know, we saw that quite a bit. One thing I also wanted to point out is there is a bit of a focus on the inner space, our inner world. You know, we have our mountain sigils, which really talk about that, pulling away from everything else and kind of going within yourself, finding a space of grounded, energy that you can tap into from the inside out. So even though for example, like our water energy doesn't have that mountain sigil, there is, in order to overcome this idea of oppression and exhaustion and restriction, is to find have a really strong center position, a really strong inner light, and continuing to grow and develop that light inside of yourself first. So our divine masculine energies are uncomfortable. I feel like I say that like every month, but fire is being asked to retreat this month. Retreat is to take. We think of it. We think of it as like taking a break. It feels like the Four of Swords energy, where you're kind of taking a break. You're taking a moment to rest and relax and get away from all of the chaos. When you're thinking about it from like a sense of like warfare, you're retreating, or you're giving up. You are losing the battle in that sense. And it might feel that way, especially for fire energy, and with air energy being guided by this idea of modesty and this idea of like, in order to overcome your enemies, you have to come from a position or a place of simplicity and modesty. And, you know, it's like not engaging in low vibrational energy actually ends up winning you the fight, rather than like going toe to toe, if you will, for our air energy. And so I feel like there is a message for that divine masculine, outwardly expressive energy, is that winning the war is more important than winning a battle overall. So retreating from any sort of low vibrational sparring or fights that may come to you actually really gives you a leg up on and allows you to focus on that which you want to come to fruition. So this idea with the needle and thread of being a wish being granted, and the egg, success being assured with good planning and hard work. And we can't do that when we're distracted. We can't do that if we fall prey to these low vibrational energies that try to keep us from our true path and purpose. And then like from the air position, you know, the Archangel Michael showed up in your reading basically to say that, you know, success in conflict and perseverance and overcoming adversity will happen when you take life from a position of modesty and simplicity and humility, which again is going to be kind of challenging for our air energy, because you know, air energy is about that quick mind, quick mouth, quick thoughts, you know, popping off, popping back. Like that sort of energy is very prevalent with air energy and potentially with fire energy as well. And again, you're being asked to come from a more subdued space to win the war instead of trying to win every single little battle, saving that energy and putting that energy into what you truly desire, and what you're truly after in life. Like, what's your path? What's your focus in life? Putting that energy towards those things rather than just any little thing that is that comes up and is agitating you or frustrating you. And then from the perspective of Earth this month, really looking at just there were a lot of triangulating messages with our Earth energy around increase, abundance, prosperity, manifestation, peace and assurance and success. What I really wanted to point the needle on, or the focus on for Earth, is that you're reaping rewards for work and effort that you've put in. You're receiving abundance and prosperity from the work and effort that you've already done. So if you haven't done any work or effort, you will also reap that harvest as well, which we know will be nilch. So just keeping that in mind as you're going through life in general, that, you know, when we're talking about these idea of reaping your rewards, if you haven't planted any seeds, you will get no rewards. But as earth signs and having strong earth placements, I do feel like if that's resonating with you, you've done a lot of work. Our earth energy is often about work, but it's also about pleasure and play and fun. And that's really what this place of increase is all about. It's about pleasure, the play, the fun, the enjoyment of the work and effort that you put into what you are reaping. And there's also there was a really strong message about taking a moment to enjoy, especially if you're an achiever, if you're just the type of person that achieves, you like achieving, you like working and all of that kind of stuff, working towards things, achieving goals, etc. There's a strong message around, like, you've made it, you've gotten to this point, this peak. So enjoy that moment before you climb the next mountain, making sure that you're focusing on your health and your wellness and your relationships and anything else that might have suffered as you're kind of making that last push to get to this place of increase. There are also messages around fertility as well, so being mindful of that. And there are a couple of ace energies as well in the readings. I think the fire sign had Ace of Wands, and the earth energy has the Ace of Crystals. So this idea of renewing, a spark of passion, of life, a new opportunity to pursue something that is going to bring you increase, something that is going to bring you to a place of abundance and overflow. And also keeping in mind that sharing is a part of that place of abundance as well. When you have an excess, sharing with others is important. There's also messages around connecting with other people as well, especially with the oppression, feeling disconnected, feeling cut off, finding ways to connect with others, finding places and spaces and networks that vibe and resonate with your energy and your frequency that you can connect to, and just kind of like plugging yourself in and being intentional about that, especially if you're feeling emotionally isolated this month. Yeah, I think that was those were the primary messages for this month to come for you. So let me know with a comment down below which element maybe you're focused on, or which message maybe resonated with you for this month. And click like and subscribe if we're not already connected here on YouTube. And if you're interested in your own personal reading, you can connect with me on Etsy. Thank you so much, beautiful soul, for your time and energy, and I will see you in an upcoming reading. Bye.